Released in 2009, the Panasonic GH1 might seem like nothing more than a forgotten relic of cameras past. A castaway. Heck, I wouldn't blame anyone for assuming this mirrorless has-been is nothing more than trash. I mean, 2009 was the year the iPhone 3GS came out, and you couldn't imagine anyone using one of those for the last 5 years, let alone in 2020. But one man's trash is another man's treasure, and there's a treasure trove of a camera that we picked up for a measly £50. But let's get down to talking about the camera. The Panasonic GH1 packs a 12.1 megapixel micro four thirds sensor. There's actually the second ever micro four thirds sensor made after the one in the Panasonic G1. That camera, however, wasn't capable of recording video. Speaking of video, the Panasonic GH1 records 1080p at 24 frames a second and 720p at 60 frames a second with continuous autofocus. In fact, the GH1 was hailed as the first consumer-priced interchangeable lens camera to offer continuous autofocus capability while shooting HD video. Whilst the specs won't sound special in today's 4K demanding world, they are definitely capable enough for content creation on YouTube. The camera itself offers full control to the user with multiple dials and buttons, all with very clear labels. The record and shutter buttons are very isolated and big, so no accidental pressing of other buttons while trying to start a recording or take a video. The GH1 even has a flip out and completely rotational screen, which is something that can't be taken for granted, as it until only recently Sony's flagship camera line didn't have a rotational screen. And I have a Sony, and good lord is it useful, and does it suck to not have one. And you don't realise how useful it is until you've had one and then no longer have it. One of the positives of a micro four thirds sensor is that you can adapt basically any lens to your camera. Got an old lens? Go for it. Your granddad giving you a lens? Go for it. Get an adapter. Look at them all. So many adapters. You can literally any type of lens. Got an old Canon? Do it. One word of advice though, the focal length will be doubled. If it does say, so like this one says 50, don't know if you can see that on the camera, it does say 50, it will be 100 when you put it on the camera, so do put that into mind, but it does make it very useful. But specs and features only mean so much, and a camera is only as good as the images it produces. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the photos that this camera takes, and good lord, are they good. Especially if you're using them for stuff like Instagram, follow me at Tommy Ramsey Photography. Yeah, if you're using it in situations like that, it's amazing. The photos look so good, the color's amazing, and I love it so much. I haven't had the opportunity to test it in a studio scenario, but I imagine it would do really well there. It's such a good tool to be able to use if you're a hobbyist or if you're a student wanting to have a cheap camera, and it's just, all in all, the pictures it makes, it's amazing. I cannot get enough. So the two shots you've seen of me have been recorded on a Panasonic GH1, and good lord, does it look amazing. It's crisp, it's so good, the colours look nice, and for £50, honestly, so many people would be happy with this footage. I'm looking at it right now, it looks so good. And yeah, for £50, you cannot go wrong, honestly. So all in all, for £50, this is the perfect YouTube camera. You honestly could not go wrong. Like, it's even amazing for photos, so your thumbnails will look good, your videos will look good, and for £50 you can't go wrong. If you're a hobbyist wanting to first start it, then it's a great camera for that, because you're not that big of an investment if you decide you don't want to do it. And you can always upgrade later down the line to a different micro four thirds camera. Keep all your lenses that you've got. You have a range of cheap lenses in case you want to improve that way. Like, there's just no way you can go wrong. At £50, it's such a good deal.